Danya Perry served as Deputy Chief of the Criminal Division for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Southern District of New York and as Deputy Attorney General for the state of New York, and she joins me now. It's good to have you here.
Good to be here.
Well, it doesn't seem like a great set of facts if you were the lawyer hired on the defense side of this. What do you make of them?
It could be coincidence, right? There are such things in life, but it sounds like the special counsel's office is gathering different pieces of proof. That's one of them, the sheer coincidence of the timing. And according to reporting, immediately after those documents were moved, Trump's lawyer called the prosecutors and said, why don't you come on down? So that happened the next day. But we've also got, according to reporting, 50 pages of his former attorney's notes that seem to corroborate that Trump had been instructed on what to do and what not to do. And this sounds like was what not to do. And, you know, there's obviously surveillance. There are witnesses that have been testifying, including some who apparently have said that Trump was showing off these documents to people. So the notion that, you know, it's a kind of a shifting defense, but that he wasn't aware that he had them, obviously that appears to have gone out the door, but that he didn't know that he wasn't supposed to have them and that they weren't supposed to remain, sounds like it's getting a little harder for him to maintain that defense.
Yeah, I mean, one of the key things here, and there's two things. One, this idea of a dress rehearsal, an episode when Trump allegedly reviewed the contents of some but not all of the boxes containing classified material. Like, the idea that, I mean, when you find out, right, that you go through the sort of series of, like, it was an oversight, or who knows what was where, or he was sloppy, or they attested. But there's a bunch of pieces that come into view that do make it seem like, and not just in the reporting, after the fact, he keeps saying they were mine. They were mine. Like, Hannity said to him, well, you wouldn't just, like, hold on to classified documents. He said, I would. So it just seems more and more like he was like, these are my documents, and I'm not giving them back, essentially.
I feel like we've had this conversation before where you'll turn to me and you say, I'm not a lawyer, but that seems like a bad idea. And it does seem like a bad idea. And he, you know, from day one, he probably should have buttoned down what his defense is. But instead, it's been this scattershot thing of, I didn't know, I didn't have them. And then it's, I'm allowed to do whatever I wanted with them.
Yeah, this quote, I thought, was the former president, this is according to people familiar with the situation, the former president told aides he wanted to make sure he could keep papers that he considered his property. I mean, that really, I think, and that, if you listen to him after the fact, that's what he's been saying. The other thing that seems key to me is that the apparent either cooperation or compelled testimony of Evan Corcoran, who is one of the lawyers who ends up, I think, signing the document, saying nothing to see here. And according to Mar-a-Lago, this Washington Post reporting, it seems like maybe they were hiding the stuff from Corcoran, who was attempting to, in good faith, comply with the subpoena.
That's what the reporting does seem to point to. It also sounds like Trump's lawyers have now propounded some kind of defense and a white paper to the Department of Justice or to special counsel in which they maybe seem to be trying to shift some blame onto Corcoran, saying, well, he just didn't do a very good job. He didn't take enough time to review the documents. So, again, it's another one of these, you know, try and choose a defense,
right,
you know, as you go and see what sticks. But generally, you have to commit to one.
Well, and one of the things that was notable, of course, was that obstruction was what was identified in the search warrant. Right, that there was probable cause of obstruction of justice. And there's always been this question about, like, what are they looking for the crime here? Is it retention of classified documents? Is violations of the Espionage Act? This would fall in the obstruction category, right? Like,
yeah.
Were this the pattern, the facts were to obtain? Yes,
it sounds like from everything we've been reading recently that is the focus. And in a lot of ways, that's usually a neater case. It's usually easier to prove. Here, there's questions about classification and, you know, were they classified, were they not? It doesn't matter. If they said they were classified, the subpoena said, give me classified documents. You didn't. That's an open and shut case.
That's really interesting. Yeah, Danya Perry, thank you so much.